Two swings 30 years apart, two teenagers, same bloodline, different worlds. When Tiger Woods was 16, the internet didn't exist to analyze every shot. Social media wasn't there to dissect every move, but cameras still rolled and legends still watched. Now at the exact same age, Charlie Woods stands where his father once stood, carrying not just clubs in his bag, but the weight of history itself. The comparison is inevitable, yet impossible. How do you measure lightning against thunder? How do you compare a son to a legend who rewrote the rules of an entire sport? But here we are, watching Charlie at 16, remembering Tiger at 16, and wondering if greatness truly runs in the blood. The swing looks familiar, the intensity burns just as bright, but the path ahead is entirely different. Tiger faced racism, broke barriers, carried the hopes of an entire community. Charlie faces social media, instant judgment, and the impossible standard of perfection set by his own father. Different pressures, same age, identical dreams. This isn't just about golf anymore. This is about destiny, legacy, and weather. The apple can fall far enough from the tree to plant its own roots. When Tiger Woods turned professional at 20, the golf world wasn't ready for what was coming. By 16, he had already shown glimpses of the hurricane that would reshape professional golf forever. Those teenage years were crucial, laying the foundation for what would become one of the most dominant careers in sports history. Now Charlie Woods walks the same fairways, swings similar clubs, but plays in a completely different universe. At 16, Tiger was already a phenomenon in junior golf circles. He had won the U.S. Junior Amateur Championship in 1991, 1992, and 1993, three consecutive victories that announced his arrival to the golf world. His swing was already being analyzed by professionals, his mental toughness already legendary among those who knew the game. Charlie, at the same age, has just broken into the top 20 of AJGA rankings with his recent 595 position jump. A remarkable achievement, but following a different trajectory entirely. The swing mechanics tell an interesting story. Tiger's swing at 16 was already showing signs of the power and precision that would dominate professional golf. His famous drop and trap technique, the way he compressed the ball, the explosive hip rotation, all these elements were visible even in his teenage years. Charlie's swing shows similar DNA, but has been refined through modern teaching methods and technology that weren't available to Tiger. Slow-motion cameras, launch monitors, and biomechanical analysis have shaped Charlie's technique from an early age. Physically, the differences are striking yet subtle. Tiger at 16 was already showing the athletic build that would serve him through decades of professional golf. His Stanford years would add muscle and maturity, but the foundation was already there. Charlie appears more naturally built for golf, having grown up with proper nutrition, fitness programs, and sports science that Tiger discovered much later in his career. Where Tiger developed his physical game through trial and error, Charlie has had optimal conditions from the beginning. The mental approach reveals the most fascinating contrasts. Tiger's teenage years were marked by an almost obsessive drive to prove himself. He practiced with a fury that concerned even his father, Earl Woods. Stories of Tiger hitting balls until his hands bled, of practicing in the dark, of an almost unhealthy perfectionism became part of his legend. Charlie shows dedication but appears to have a more balanced approach, perhaps learning from his father's eventual struggles with burnout and injury. Tournament performance at 16 shows different paths to excellence. Tiger's 3 U.S. Junior Amateur victories were unprecedented, establishing him the clear dominant force in junior golf. His scoring averages, his clutch performances under pressure, his ability to win when it mattered most, all these were already elite level. Charlie's recent breakthrough victory and ranking jump suggest a later bloomer approach, building momentum gradually rather than exploding onto the scene. The competition they faced reveals how golf has evolved. Tiger competed against talented juniors, but the overall depth and quality of junior golf wasn't what it is today. Charlie faces players who have had access to better coaching, superior equipment, and more sophisticated training methods from early ages. The field is deeper, the competition fiercer, making Charlie's recent success even more impressive in context. Technology has fundamentally changed how both players develop their games. Tiger learned through feel, instinct, and countless hours of trial and error. His father Earl provided guidance, but much of Tiger's development came through personal discovery and relentless practice. Charlie has access to launch monitors, swing analysis software, biomechanical experts, and data that provides instant feedback on every aspect of his game. The equipment evolution between Tiger's teenage years and Charlie's is remarkable. Tiger played with persimmon woods, blade irons, and golf balls that were primitive compared to today's technology. His ability to generate distance and accuracy with that equipment makes his achievements even more impressive. Charlie benefits from modern drivers, game improvement irons, and balls that fly farther and straighter, but he also faces opponents with the same advantages. Course conditions represent another significant difference. The courses Tiger played as a junior were longer and more challenging than many professional courses today, but they lacked the sophistication and maintenance and setup that Charlie experiences. Modern junior tournaments are played on courses in pristine condition, with professional-level setup and maintenance that ensures fair but demanding competition. The media attention both players received at 16 shows how the world has changed. Tiger's junior achievements were covered by golf publications and local sports sections, building his reputation gradually within golf circles. Charlie's every move is documented on social media, analyzed by thousands of amateur swing coaches, and broadcast to millions instantly. The pressure is both more intense and more diffuse. Coaching philosophies have evolved dramatically between the two generations. Tiger worked primarily with his father and later with Butch Harmon, focusing on fundamentals and building a repeatable swing through repetition. Charlie has access to multiple coaches, sports psychologists, fitness trainers, and mental performance experts, representing a more holistic approach to player development. The economic aspects of their junior careers differ significantly. Tiger's family made considerable sacrifices to support his golf development, with Earl and Tita Woods stretching their resources to provide opportunities. Charlie grows up in a family where financial constraints don't limit access to the best coaching, equipment, and tournament travel, removing barriers that many junior golfers face. Educational balance shows another contrast in their teenage years. Tiger maintains strong academic performance while pursuing golf excellence, understanding that Stanford represented both a backup plan and an opportunity to mature before turning professional. Charlie faces similar educational decisions, but in a world where social media and instant fame can make traditional educational paths seem less relevant, the racial and cultural context cannot be ignored when comparing their teenage experiences. Tiger broke barriers and faced challenges that Charlie will never encounter, carrying the weight of being a pioneer in a traditionally white sport. Charlie benefits from the doors his father opened but faces different pressures related to living up to an established legacy rather than creating one. Physical conditioning represents a major evolution between their teenage years. Tiger's fitness routine at 16 was basic compared to modern standards, focusing mainly on flexibility and general conditioning. Charlie has access to sport-specific training, advanced recovery methods, and nutritional guidance that help optimize performance while preventing injury. The amateur golf landscape has changed dramatically between Tiger's era and Charlie's. Tiger dominated junior golf when the talent pool was smaller and less sophisticated. Charlie competes in an era where junior golf is more competitive than ever, with players receiving professional-level coaching from early ages and international competition being more accessible. Mental preparation shows interesting similarities and differences. Tiger's mental toughness was largely self-developed, forged through competition and personal drive. Charlie has access to sports psychology experts and mental performance coaches, but whether this creates the same level of mental fortitude remains to be seen. Sometimes adversity builds character more effectively than perfect conditions. The scoring patterns reveal how both players approached course management at 16. Tiger was already showing signs of the strategic thinking that would define his professional career, understanding when to be aggressive and when to play conservatively. Charlie appears to be learning similar lessons, but in an environment where course management strategies are more sophisticated and data-driven. Recovery and practice routines demonstrate the evolution of sports science. Tiger's practice sessions at 16 were often marathon affairs, grinding through repetition until perfection was achieved. Charlie's training incorporates modern understanding of recovery, periodization, and efficiency, potentially preventing the overuse injuries that plagued Tiger later in his career. The expectations placed on both players at 16 were enormous, but different in nature. Tiger faced expectations to break barriers and change the sport, carrying hopes of entire communities on his shoulders. Charlie faces expectations to match or exceed his father's achievements, a burden that is perhaps even heavier because it's so specific and measurable. Looking at their tournament schedules reveals different approaches to junior golf development. Tiger played a full schedule of junior events, accumulating experience and building his reputation through consistent competition. Charlie's schedule appears more selective, focusing on quality over quantity and balancing golf with other aspects of teenage development. The support systems surrounding both players show how athlete development has professionalized. Tiger relied primarily on family support and a small circle of coaches and mentors. Charlie has access to a team of specialists but must navigate a more complex web of advisors, agents, and business interests even at the junior level. As we analyze these two remarkable teenagers 30 years apart, patterns emerge that transcend individual differences. Both show exceptional talent, unwavering dedication, and the ability to perform under pressure. Both benefit from strong family support and access to quality coaching. Both face enormous expectations and public scrutiny. The real question isn't whether Charlie will become the next Tiger Woods. That's impossible and unfair. The question is whether Charlie Woods will become the first Charlie Woods, writing his own chapter in golf history while honoring the legacy that came before. At 16, both players showed they belonged at the highest levels of junior golf. What happens next will determine not just their individual legacies, but the future of a sport that continues to evolve with each generation.